Hello, my name is Keith Pusey from Broadcom, and today I'm going to show you how we can actually mix synthetic and static test data in a BlazeMeter functional UI test. So here we have our functional test that's been created using our recorder, and this test is to validate a user registration form. So we go to a URL to start with, and then in each of these sections we have all the steps required to complete the form. Now we've parameterized this test, as you can see here with these parameters, so automatically we can generate the data. Now, as well as generating data, we can also combine that with CSV data, which allows us to pass variables for things like different environments. So we can use the same test as we move through the SDLC. So on the right hand side, this is our test data we defined. So this is the data that matches those parameters that you can see in the test. So things like date of birth, if I click on that, at runtime, we'd automatically generate the data for the date of birth test. We've also included a CSV file. So as well as the synthetic data generation here, we've also got CSV files that contain other data we can use within the test. Now, these are just parameters to the test. It doesn't matter if it's a CSV file or a synthetic data generation. So what we've done is in the CSV file, we have data specific to an environment. And we can combine that with our synthetic data generation to generate other data we need for our test. Now to show that, I'm going to put the test in debug. So we switch the test to a debug screen. We've now generated the data. So if I mouse over this first name, you can see that in the CSV file, it actually says QA. I've done this to show which CSV file we're looking at. And we can also look at the URL to show that the URL is also our QA URL. If I turn the debug off and we go back and we actually look at the CSV files, we can switch that CSV file. So at the moment we're looking at QA. So when we want to move this test and actually use the same test in UAT, I just unselect QA, I select UAT, we click accept, I put it back into debug, and if we now look at that URL parameter, we're now using the data from the UAT CSV file. So at runtime, we would actually mix and match synthetic data generation with CSV. If I go and look at our test data preview, we can see all the data we'd use in the test. So this data here is being generated through our rules. So these are our dates of births, our cities, our addresses, as we showed. And on the right-hand side, we have the data that's coming from our CSV file. So you can see here where we actually prefixed it with the UAT.